different levels, I cannot relate. You never win if you playing it safe. It's all a game until you get played.
Talk about reparations a lot on my channel. I believe in it wholeheartedly, but I don't really get into it that much. There's so many other influencers and content creators out here who discuss it at length, but I this one here kind of got to me because I laughed because last year California had an opportunity to pass some. Well, let's go back. Let's start over. California passed a reparations commissions bill back in 2020, and Gavin Newsom signed it. It went into law. For 2 years, they studied it, and then they came out with a report at the end of 2023 with some recommendations and some things for 2024. Some recommendations and some policy memos. And then they brought it to the House. Senator Bradford out in California brought it to the House. Brought it to the Senate. These bills went to the floor to get voted on. After they had already voted on the commission, after they said they would get ready to do all these things, and they had the votes, they didn't have no pushback from the Republicans. Even if the Republicans could have pushed back, California is in a spot where they have a super majority. Democrats got a super majority, meaning that they can just pass whatever the hell they want to pass. And you know what happened? The California Legislative Black Caucus decided that they were going to try to dangle it like a carrot and try to use it for votes for another election, and decided to let the bills die on the floor, not vote on them, caused a lot of animosity between them and the activists in California. And they said, hey, we're going to pick it back up in next session. We're going to pick it back up in next session. Well, guess what? This is how this proverbial can gets kicked down the road. This is how politicians don't have to do anything for anybody. They just kick it down the road. Just kind of like, how abortion is always an issue at every single election, just like voting rights is always a talking point for elections. Health care is always a talking point for foreign, like the same things over and over and over again. Taxes, the same ones we hear every time. They get kicked down the road every time. And California did it. And then, so what happened? People got pissed off, stayed at home, didn't vote. Changing of administration. Wes Moore goes in as governor. He's the black guy that's in Maryland. People are tooting his name out there as an orator. He might be getting ready for a 2028 election bid for president. His name's been floated out there with Andy Beshear and Gavin Newsom. They out there doing their little fillers. Well, the Maryland Black Caucus, decided that they were going to try to push a study bill so they could study the effects of slavery and Jim Crow and the vestiges of it, and come up with remedies and some solutions to try to draft some policies to kind of change the racial wealth gap. And Wes Moore decided that he was going to veto it. Black man vetoing a reparations bill. Now, I want y'all to listen to why he did it. Because, sometimes we don't listen to why people do things. But I want y'all to take a listen to what he says, and then we'll talk about it on the next side.
That's right. And that veto was one of 23 the governor announced late this afternoon. In a letter to the Senate president about his decision, Governor Moore said instead of a study, he wants to see immediate action to address racial disparities. He said given the extensive research already conducted over the past 25 years, Governor Moore believes another study is unnecessary. Instead, he emphasized the need to narrow the racial wealth gap, expand home ownership, and uplift entrepreneurs of color. Moore said he plans to introduce a package of policies in the next legislative session to further those goals. The bill, which proposed creating the Maryland Reparations Commission, proposed various forms of reparations, including financial compensation and tuition waivers. It was supported by the Maryland Black Caucus. In his letter about the veto, Governor Moore said, quote, "While I appreciate the work that went into this legislation, I strongly believe now is not the time for another study. Now is the time for continued action that delivers results for the people we serve."
What do we say? How do we get into this? It's a bad look. It's a bad look. Now, I actually agree with him in theory that there shouldn't be no more study bills. Like, there's enough studying going on. There's enough research is going on. In theory, I believe in that. But we also know that they're not going to do a damn thing to address any single issues. And this was just another one of those carrots that you were trying to dangle out there for votes. Now, this is what makes them look so stupid, because people will see this, and now this headline is going to go out there that Wes Moore has vetoed reparations. He's going to have to eat this one, and it's going to cost you, brother. This one here is going to cost you. When you see bills like this coming through, the easiest thing for you to do is just sign it. Let them go ahead and study it. Kick it down the road. Could have got it out to probably, 2028. People would say, well, he signed a reparation study bill. Did the same thing Gavin Newsom did. You just did the complete opposite. At least Gavin Newsom actually signed the bill. Hell, he hasn't allowed anything to be passed to do anything. But at least he allowed the study to go on so they could have a little hearing and do all that. You didn't allow that. And you're going to try to toot yourself as trying to tackle the racial wealth gap and all that. Y'all be listening to social media. Y'all be listening to YouTube. You all listen to, y'all read the tea leaves that's going on. Y'all read what's on X. Y'all hear the lingo. You hear the language. You hear the reparationists when they, all the jargon that's going on online. You know exactly what to say. And you know exactly what not to do. Wes Moore knows damn well that Maryland wasn't going to pass not one single bill to do anything to address one single issue with black people in Maryland. They're not. And he went for this to sit up there and go for the dog and pony show. He just stopped it right there. Now you're going to be out here trying to run for office. They're going to use this one against you, brother. This was a bad look. Now, the governor said that he got some policies that he want to implement. I guess we're going to see, Mr. Governor Moore. If you're going to do anything that's going to address these issues, I want to see what he's talking about. Because the Maryland Black Caucus has some policies in there. They said tuition waivers. How many young black kids in Baltimore could have used that one? I guess we'll see. Now, Maryland has a budget. They're not in a deficit in Maryland. They actually have a surplus. So we'll see what happens with Wes Moore. But I tell you what, this ain't looking good. I can't wait to see the headline from the Shade Room or somebody from one of those. I want to see what the comments going to say, because I know what X is saying. I know what the reparationist community is saying about this. They're looking at it and saying, yep, here goes another one. Here goes another one. Here goes Obama Light. Come in with all the slogans and the sound bites and a sloganeer. It would be a sloganeer. Very good orator. Not one single damn policy gets signed. Not one single bill gets signed into law that does anything to change anything. Sounds good. Give you that. We got to keep on fighting, and we're going to keep on doing it until we get to that promised land. You'll be dead and gone before you even see the promised land. Let these people do it. This is all Democrats do. They kick cans down the road. And they even, what's crazy about this whole situation to me is that you got Cory Booker and the Democrats in the House and in the Senate talking about reparations in Congress, in D.C., after not saying nothing about reparations for the last 4 years while Biden ass was in office. All of a sudden now, They out here want to introduce HR 40 all over again. A repackaged version of it. Same BS. John Kanye is probably rolling over his grave how many times his bill been repackaged. Sheila Jackson Lee did it up until she passed away. I mean, goodness gracious. Now it's back again after being gone for 4 years, not hearing nothing. Now they want to make noise with it. But y'all gonna ride this out to 2028? Gonna talk about it for the next 3 years? Because y'all know the Republicans ain't pushing this bill. Mike Johnson ain't letting this go. Are we serious? What we doing here, man? What are we doing here? Y'all had 4 years. Actually, y'all had 2. First 2 years. Could have done it. Could have got it done. Could have had Biden do it by executive action. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But now they want to hoop and holler and start talking about this again. And this is the same stuff that happens every single election cycle because it's about to be the midterms. And guess what? They're trying to win. We're coming in election season again. We're right at the election season. The first 100 days of Trump's administration is over with. Now we're getting into campaign mode. Everybody want to make their names felt for the next 3 years so they can be talked about before the primaries. We're going to see what happens. But I guarantee you, not one damn thing is going to get done. All they doing is talking. All they doing is trying to rile people up. They know they're not passing no reparation. They need to stop playing. They're not going to pass it. If they were, they would have already done it. They're trying to keep dangling these carrots. And what you're doing is you don't understand that black people who are actually about that life understand that y'all are full of shit. That's why they're not voting for you. That's why they are completely turned off. That's why they have become agnostic to voting. What? They have voter apathy. I'm sorry, not agnostic. What the hell I'm talking about? Can't use that word. Voter apathy. They have voter apathy. They're not going to the polls. They're not voting for you. So you better change your message. Better get a new one. Because this one ain't working no more. This one is not working anymore. It will not work anymore. It cannot work anymore. Because nobody is paying attention to y'all when y'all do this. This dog and pony show. And for what? For what? So we're going to see how Westmore does this. I'm going to be paying attention. Maryland, my Maryland people, y'all let me know. Y'all keep me abreast of what's going on in Maryland with Governor Moore. I want to see these bills. I want to analyze what he's about to be proposing gets done to see if he is about his really about getting things done, or he just full of shit and trying to gaslight for 2028. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I think he a gaslighter though. Yeah.